Hi, so this is Wherefore Part 1. Tasha wakes cold and confused. It is a groggy, sloth-thinking attempt at surfacing from dreams. At first, all she can think about is why she is so cold. She is never usually this cold when she wakes up. Where is the duvet? Opening her eyes to the grey half-light, she notes with sluggish bemusement that this is not her bed. Not her bedroom. She is in fact in a field and quite entirely naked. All of this comes as a surprise to her. She stares at her surroundings, wondering if the hedge and trampled grass will go away soon, turning into a more plausible start to the day. Something squawks from the hedge. A distant car alarm cries out for attention. She is still naked, and somehow there is no duvet. Only grass rasping at her thighs and, on closer inspection, grass stuck between her teeth as well. Tasha has no idea what she is doing, or, perhaps more importantly, what she has done to end up in this position. Her mind is an awkward blank. For a while this paralyses her, then the panic kicks in. It comes hot and sudden as her body gets to grips with the fact that she is butt naked in a field and the sun is rising. Jumping up, she turns about in a frantic hunt for the clothes that should surely be here. There are no clothes. Where did she leave them? Standing, she stares at the places where clothes could be and yet somehow are not. As far as she knows, Tasha is not the sort of person to strip off on a whim and go prancing through the moonlit fields in just her skin. She is liberated enough to wear a long skirt and no knickers on a hot day, but not this. As far as she can tell, no one has kidnapped her. She is quite alone and unrestrained. Aside from being cold, she feels well enough and appears reassuringly undamaged. This is something positive at least. There are two options coalescing in her fuzzy mind. Either she should wander about in the hopes of finding her clothes, or try to get home as fast as possible. The hum of traffic rises from the valley below, and she settles on the second option. It is more of an ungainly trot than a sprint. The ground is squishy and unforgiving to bare feet. The tarmac is less slidey, but no more fun. A car beeps at her, and a blush in her face works its hot, humiliated way towards her toes. Thankfully it is still early, and there isn't much traffic. At least she's warm now, between the blushing and the jog that has slowed to a frantic kind of walk. At the bottom of the hill she wrestles a large cardboard box out of a recycling bin, giving silent thanks to the gods of municipal rubbish collection. The box is big enough that, so long as she holds it carefully in front of her, it covers her from bosom to bum. Exposed she may be, but entirely indecent she is not. The small comfort allows her the confidence to drop pace, reducing the demands on her sore feet. She feels less awkward without her tits banging about, and this improves her mood. The inside of her mouth still tastes of grass. For now, the dramatic immediacy of walking home in a cardboard box does not leave her with enough spare thinking capacity to fret over her recent history. There is only so much a person can handle at any one time. At the traffic lights, a woman and a spaniel eye her speculatively. Is there something going on in town today, then? Some kind of protest, is it? Flustered, Tasha can't think of a reasonable reply. Or is it just Stroud? The woman concludes, following through with a knowing laugh. Tasha laughs too, trying not to sound hysterical. The spaniel contributes by pressing a cold nose against her bare calf. She takes off at full speed when the green light comes on. Of course, a woman wearing only a cardboard box wandering about first thing in the morning hardly counts as unusual. There have been naked ramblers and joggers. In many ways, what makes her odd is that she's not doing this as part of some complex symbolism for a protest, nor is she indulging in deliberate performance art of any kind. Is it art if other people think it is art? She doesn't know. If she paused to strike poses, anyone seeing her would assume she has grant funding and a project explanation as long as her arm. probably written on her arm in organic handmade ink. While Tasha likes the more flamboyant aspects of her hometown, she has never been one for joining in with that sort of thing. Better to be an onlooker, safely on the sidelines, she has always felt. Up to this point in her life, she has experienced a grand total of no urges at all to exhibit herself in any way. And yet, somehow, she has become naked and is out in public in this rather too small cardboard box that once contained pom bears. It strikes her, as she climbs the last hill heading for home, that she has never tried to look at the world through the eyes of a pom bear. Her front door turns out to be open, which alarms her. She shuts it and swaps the inadequate box for a jacket, then realises said jacket only comes down to her waist. Armed with an umbrella, she makes her way up through the narrow house. The only visible intruder is a neighbour's near-spherical cat sunbathing in her armchair. The cat eyes her with mild interest and a clear sense of entitlement to remain. In her unclad state, Tasha opts to leave the moggy in peace. Trousers first, evictions later. Her bed does not look especially slept in. It is hard to tell, as she never really makes the bed. But there are no knickers on the floor where she normally throws them at night. The duvet is largely on the bed. The curtains are suspiciously open. It makes sleepwalking seem unlikely, and this is uncomfortable, because it is the only halfway sensible explanation she has thus far come up with. Tasha sits on the edge of the bed and tries to make sense of things. The bed calls out seductively to her, promising feelings of luxury and respite. Tasha does not feel as though she has slept much. Work starts in little over an hour. The only sensible thing to do is not to worry about the missing night and to get on with the important demands of her entirely normal life. For a very few moments, Tasha feels as though she has made this decision before and deliberately forgotten about it. This makes her uneasy, but the feeling does not take hold because at the same time she looks around for her phone. In a moment of clarity, she recalls that her phone was in the pocket of her jeans. Her keys and her wallet were also in her jeans. She, however, is quite noticeably not in her jeans at present. She feels certain that she had jeans yesterday and that all of those important items were in them. Memory seeps back in slow and partial. She had jeans on because she was going to the pub. She does not now remember getting to the pub. Trying to be methodical, she checks through her rooms, the laundry basket and the washing machine. There are no jeans, no phone, no wallet, no keys. Awkward. Very, very awkward. Where have her trousers gone to without her? She dresses properly. On the way out, she gives the visiting cat a look which she hopes conveys a message about not peeing on the floor. The front door has been open all night, and she decides leaving it on the latch now is no great risk. Tracing her normal route to the local, it does not take her long to find what remains of the jeans. They are in a bramble patch at the edge of the cemetery. Everything she stashed in them is still in the pockets. There is no explaining the state of the jeans, and she cannot imagine what could have damaged them. There are other tatters of fabric about the place that might once have been her other clothes. She isn't sure and doesn't want to investigate. As she stares at the fabric carnage around her, Tasha knows she should remember something about how this happened. Increasingly, though, she is glad that she does not. To be continued.